But first, here at 6, breaking news. Guilty verdicts for all 4 defendants in the ComEd 4 federal bribery trial.
Our Tara Molina has been following the trial for weeks. She is live at the Dirksen Federal Courthouse with reaction. Tara.
Erica and Joe, this jury combed over a mountain of evidence to reach this verdict here today. Evidence spanning 8 years, recorded phone calls, secretly recorded videos, hundreds of emails and more, all tied to a conspiracy involving former House Speaker Mike Madigan, a conspiracy all 4 now found guilty of. You're looking at video of Mike McLean, former ComEd lobbyist with known close ties to Mike Madigan, guilty on all 9 counts, joined by former ComEd CEO Ann Pramaggiore on those 9 counts and the guilty verdict. Then former ComEd VP John Hooker, who testified on his own behalf in this trial, and ComEd consultant Jay Doherty, both facing 6 counts here. The case revolving around the 4 defendants' relationship with former House Speaker Mike Madigan, a relationship this jury says crossed the line from legit lobbying into illegal bribery to win Madigan's support and influence over ComEd legislation in Springfield. And while he wasn't named in this suit, he was, of course, a central figure in this more than 6-week trial. The jury heard Madigan on recorded phone calls and heard the 4 defendants talk about him and what he meant to ComEd, something that made a real difference to the jury. We just heard that from a member firsthand.
You know, our perception was that he really did cause this all to happen. If it wouldn't have been for him, then these people would not have been in the position that they would need to commit crimes in the first place. We are tired of political corruption in general, and you know, we are hoping that this is a first step so that Illinois can function better.
Tired of political corruption. An interesting perspective from this jury firsthand. Makes a lot of sense they came up with this verdict here today. Now, these 4 defendants have no criminal history, but these criminal charges that all 4 of them are facing carry heavy penalties. They could be looking at some real jail time. Following this verdict, CBS 2 did check in with ComEd, and we actually just heard back from a spokesperson. They tell us that as a result of all of this, they have made substantial changes already to their contracting, lobbying, and compliance operations. You can read more from them in this story up on our website right now. For now, reporting live in the federal courthouse, I'm Tara Molina, CBS 2 News.
Thank you, Tara.
Now we want to bring in our legal analyst for CBS 2, Irv Miller. Irv, this case was the result of an aggressive, years-long federal investigation. So what, in your mind, was the deciding factor for prosecutors in getting this guilty verdict?
Corroboration. Corroboration by means of recordings, video recordings, audio recordings of telephone calls. Certainly flipping a witness, Fidel Marquez, who worked for ComEd, to have him testify against these people that he worked with. And then the corroborating factors of what occurred and the conversations that each of these individuals had with each other that were testified about, and clearly rose to the occasion that this wasn't lobbying, this was political corruption, as that juror just mentioned.
Irv, we mentioned that Mike Madigan, not a defendant in this case, but certainly clearly a central figure. Let's step forward to the case against him and how the results today might impact that. Do you see any of these defendants in this case, potentially including McLean, flipping on Madigan? What is their value to the prosecution now that they've been convicted?
Their value would be immense because their testimony would be corroborated by other evidence, including, as I said, their own voices, talking to the former speaker, talking about emails, text messages, things like that. You know, it's a matter of time. Something has to happen because his trial is actually scheduled for April 1st of 2024. And he's facing more charges than these 4 defendants were charged with and convicted of. He's facing racketeering conspiracy, he's bribery, wire fraud. Those are really on the top level of serious charges in federal court. So as to whether or not any of these defendants are willing to flip, I think there's going to be discussions about that between the U.S. Attorney's Office and the lawyers for these defendants. Cut a deal, less time, maybe probation in exchange for their testimony instead of jail time. Those are all discussions that I suggest would occur because, frankly, the government is interested in convicting Michael Madigan. He's presumed to be innocent right now, but the government wants to be able to have a solid case come April of next year.
Irv, we're up against the clock quickly. Do you think this Madigan case goes to trial?
I would be surprised if it goes to trial based upon what occurred today. I think there will be some type of amicable disposition in this case between now and April 1st of 2024.
All right. Irv, thanks as always for your time. Appreciate it.
Acting U.S. Attorney Morris Pasquale spoke moments ago, offering the prosecution's reaction to the guilty verdict across the board and promising to continue targeting corruption.
The state of Illinois, unfortunately, has a deep-seated public corruption problem. Corruption that erodes and eats away at the people's confidence in their government and in their elected officials.
We will continue to follow this story this evening. We will have more reaction and analysis tonight on the CBS 2 News at 10.